Hi, everybody. Here we are in August and looking forward to just enjoying the rest of the summer. I hope you are. Hope you've got lots of great plans and, time with family and friends before September hits and we get back into the routine of school and all that kind of stuff. It's been fun around the church seeing people come back again. It's been really good to be with people and connect with them that way. And looking forward to September when I know many more people will be coming back and gathering together. For the rest of the month of August, I wanted to do a 3-part series on marriage. We had just a one-off here a couple weeks ago on marriage, and I had some really great feedback on that. And so I wanted to do that for the next 3 weeks. Now, marriage is very, very important relationship. And I believe that our marriages are under attack these days. And we pray often for the marriages here at ACC. If you're married, we pray for you. We want you to succeed in your marriage. I want to succeed in my marriage. And I tell couples, especially I do premarital counseling and that kind of stuff, or any kind of couple, that marriage is the best, hardest work we have to do. We get to do. It's difficult. It's difficult to have a great marriage. But it's worth it because it's so great. It's like hiking up a cliff or high mountain with incredible views at the top. It's hard to get to the top of the mountain, but when you're there, it's beautiful. And there are beautiful views all along the way. It's worth the climb is what I'm saying. And so that's what I want us to talk about over the next little bit. So there's three sort of words that jump out to me when I think of successful marriage. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So 3 of them: communication, sacrifice, and forgiveness. And so today I want to talk about communication. It is, men and women communicate differently. We think differently. We process things differently. And it can be really hard to communicate. I mean, individuals already can communicate differently. But men and women, it's even more so. And so we've got to work hard at listening to and understanding each other. My brother, we were talking about some family stuff, and he said, some conversations require many, many words. And it's okay to take many words in a conversation to understand each other. It's like this. I have a thought and an idea in my heart, and then I have to translate my heart into words that makes sense to me to communicate it. Okay. So that's step 1. I communicate it. Then I send those words out. That's step 2. Send those words out to a listener, to my spouse, to, let's say, Jennifer. And then she takes those words in. That's another step. She's got to take those words in. Now she needs to translate those words into something that's going to communicate to her heart. Another step. So all these steps where communication could go south. And, she might want to say something to me based on her. Jennifer has a gift of discernment. She has a high value on justice. I have a high value on mercy, and so she throws something my way that comes from her heart of rightness and justice. And it goes into the air with the words that she can put and make sense to it. I got to take those words, and it can be confused when it finally hits my heart. So there's all this opportunity for confusion, and then I got to send it back to her. And again, it just the possibility of miscommunication is high, which is why we need to work hard at communicating. We need to have lots and lots of conversations. When we communicate, we need to communicate our needs. We need to communicate our love. We need to communicate our dreams. And sometimes we're not good at communicating our love. We just assume the other person knows that we love them. Or we assume the other person knows what our needs are. And let's understand that people are not mind readers. And so we need to communicate, that we love our spouse, that we're proud of them, that we respect them, that we're listening to them. We need to communicate that a lot. And you can't over-communicate those kind of things. You can't say I love you too much. So you may need to just start practice doing that, saying I love you a lot. There's a great book called The 5 Love Languages. And again, it just helps to understand how a person communicates love. It talks about 5 love languages. So gifts, as one of the love languages. Time together is a love language. Acts of service, physical touch, and the last one is, what is it, Tim? It's just my mind went blank. But you can look it up. You can read it. You're all thinking what it is. See, if I was on Jeopardy and I wouldn't be able to push my button, you all would get it right and I'd get it wrong. Anyway, those 5 love languages are good to know. And you can words of affirmation. Boom, pull it out. So words of affirmation are the 5th one. And as you learn what your spouse's love language is, then you learn to speak that language, and it may be different than what your love language is. So you get used to you get used to just speaking in your love language instead of trying to learn someone else's language. And the more you can learn their language, the better you are at communicating with them. Yeah, James says we should be quick to listen and slow to speak. And that's just a great skill that we need to learn when we are communicating. Be quick to listen. Take time to listen to your spouse. Slow to speak, slow to make judgment calls on what they're saying, but really try to understand what they're saying. Be really interested in that other person. Seek to know the other person. I felt like God said to me early on that if I don't really seek to know who Jennifer is and what she thinks and how she feels, she's likely going to go through this life mostly unknown, never being known. And so I've got the privilege and the responsibility to get to know her, to find out what makes her tick, to understand her so that she's known in this world. And you guys can do that with your spouses as well. So communication, key step number 1. Next week, we'll talk about key step number 2, which is sacrifice. But that's as far as we'll go today. Hope you guys have a fantastic week, and looking forward to being together on Sunday. God bless you guys. I love being your pastor.